future team leaders and future leaders like us.
Yeah. So how we actually develop self-awareness, I'm going to be talking a bit about that. So I'm going to be offering you a few tips and tricks. Feel free to interrupt me if you can't hear me, if you need me to slow down, or if you need me to speed up. So one of the best ways to develop our self-awareness is to actively ask for feedback. Sometimes we can get really defensive, sorry. We can get really defensive when people offer us feedback because we perceive it as criticism. Feedback in itself is not a bad thing. It's always good when other people point out what are the things about yourself that you can improve, because sometimes we're not really clear, we don't see ourselves clearly, so we don't really know what our weak points are and what our weak spots are. Sometimes other people see it better, so it's always a good idea to ask for feedback. One of the main skills the good facilitator, for example, has is asking for feedback after each session, not only from his co-FASI but also from participants in the session itself, so that they can see what are the weak spots and what they can improve. So never be afraid to ask for feedback. That's kind of really important when it comes to knowing yourself and being aware of what you're good in and what you're not so good in and what you can actually improve. Another thing you can do is take a bunch of personality tests. As you all know, there are a lot of personality tests online, and you can find some which are quite silly, like which color are you and horoscope signs and things like that. But you can find some which are really, really good, like the Jung test, which determines if your personality is an extrovert personality, introvert, things like that. So basically, personality tests are a pretty good and accurate way of getting to know yourself. The one thing with personality tests is being honest while answering the questions. I know sometimes it's quite hard when you have a person that you are and you have the person that you want to be, and then you have the questions and the answers are provided, and sometimes it's tricky for us answering honestly, and we're just like, yes, this is me, but this is what I would like to be. And sometimes we answer what we would like to be. So in order to get an accurate representation, it's quite important to actually provide honest answers. If we're not honest with ourselves, we will never be able to actually know who we are. Another thing is being Cinderella, which basically means putting ourselves in different position. ISEC is a really good platform for this, because in ISEC you have different functions, and it's really important to see which function actually fits your personality best and where you can learn the most. To have a very personal example, my first year and a half in ISEC, I just did OGX. And I was doing outgoing exchange. That was everything to me, and I didn't really know if I was good in any other function, because OGX was what I did and that was the end of it. Well, ISEC is really cool because you can explore. You have terms which last 6 months. You can explore, you can try different functions, and you can actually see who you are and see what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. And also you can challenge yourself and do a function which you don't think you would be good in, and then like improve. So it's really cool being Cinderella. It's a good platform before we actually find full-time employment, to see which shoe fits best, and not in 5 or 10 years realize, oh, why am I doing this with my life? This is not something I'm really good at. Another thing we should do, we should reflect on our behaviors. And this sometimes sounds silly, but it's mostly just figuring out your motivations for the decisions that you take. Sometimes we make instant decisions. For example, if I gave you a choice right now, whether you would go for vacation in Turkey or to Greece, you would be able to give me the answer right now, probably. But you wouldn't think that hard about why you're giving the answer that you're giving. So sometimes it's good, even when the decision that you're making is not that big of a decision, to just take 5 minutes or take 10 minutes and reflect on it, and to see what your motivations behind the decision are. That's one of the best ways, like being alone with yourself, of figuring out who you are and why you are the way you are. So that's basically the general tips of how we should develop our self-awareness.
Yeah, so now you know how to develop it, but there is another one really important side of self-awareness, which is self-assessment, personality assessment and personal assessment. And what we offer for you are two different tests and analysis tools, which are usually used for companies, used by companies, for development and for employers. So the first one, I'm sure all of you know what this is, like SWOT analysis. This is which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. SWOT analysis guides you to identify your organization's strengths and weaknesses, as well as broader opportunities and threats. The same thing can be done for your personality as well. And before going like further to practical part, let us just consider one of the really popular examples. One of my favorite character, like Gregory House. I'm sure you all of you have seen this, the series about Dr. House. So these are the adjectives I kind of prepared for you. I'm not sure, maybe you can add something, use chat for it. And this is his personality as I see him. So he is formidable. He has formidable power of deduction. He's very rational and has really strong logical reasoning, just like Sherlock Holmes or any other protagonist. At the same time, his personality is really he might sometimes be a negative the character. He's antagonistic, cynic, and the good word for his personality is Curmudgeon. So he loves to make fun of people, like mock them, and like he sometimes can be a real bully. So yeah, basically he has problems with communication, but at the same time he seeks for intellectual stimulation. So as far as I remember, when he was offered to make a surgeries and accept like clients for money, he preferred to take more challenging tasks instead of just working for money. He's the good friend Wilson, Dr. Wilson, like he can support him anytime. His team members consider like more or less satisfied with his team leader, so I just wrote that like he's tolerable team leader, like average, like he gives opportunities for his team members, so it's okay. And also he has a good sense of humor. So now we know all of these adjectives, and like more or less like have a picture of Gregory House, and let us see how we like allocated all of his how we constructed a SWOT analysis for him. So S standing for strengths. I wrote like smart and rational. Yeah, he is smart, he is rational, no doubt. Next, this can be a bit questionable, but I think compassionate or сострадательный is a good word to describe him, because usually he is really caring for his patients, although he does not really show that he is that caring, but he always makes sure that they are like survive, and if some of his patients dies, like you know the output, he got depressed and stuff. Weaknesses. Problems with communication, obvious, and also closed. So all of us know like this threat of his, like Vicodin addiction, like drugs addiction. He was too close to show his weakness, like to show that he really he has got addicted, which is really bad, and he didn't even share it with his friends at first time. Next, opportunities. Sense of humor, which can be a good opportunity in terms of communication with other people, and also like as I wrote, like tolerable team leader. He can have a satisfied team in near future. And threats, it's misunderstanding because of his problems with communication and his like bad behavior and nicotine addiction. So now we have SWOT. What are we supposed to do with it?
Aram has raised his hand. Aram, can you type? That's fine. Can you type or do you like, okay, can you say it? Say what you wanted to say or ask? Aram, can you hear me? No? Okay, he's typing. Your mic is on, should be on. He's just trying new things. Okay, please don't try new things.
No, he's not.
No, its mic is not on. Okay, can you type your question if it was a question? The same goes for everyone. If you have a question during any one of us talking, just type it so we can answer it. Okay? Awesome.
Okay,
while Aram is typing, we will come to it in a second, Aram.
Thank
so
you,
just
Aram.
Patience. Okay, Nigina, you can continue. Sorry.
Yeah, so yeah, we have SWOT analysis, and just like we do it with our functional areas or our organizations, I'm sure team leaders and EB members know how can we work with them. If you're a team member for now, just you can learn it, it's easier. So the main goal is to turn your weaknesses into stresses, like get rid of threats and use your opportunities to work on your like bad sides. So if we take a look at the first picture, you see helpful internal role, external role, helpful and harmful. How do you call them? Stolbikin. Okay, so now we know this. He can use sense of humor to solve problems of communication, most probably. I don't know how can his satisfied team help him to solve other threats and weaknesses, but maybe like trying to open up more, he can solve the like fight against misunderstanding threat and also at the same time nicotine addiction. And yes, as Aram pointed out, now it's time to try to like make our own SWOT analysis for ourselves. And I'm giving you like 4 minutes to do so. Yeah, I think 4 minutes would be enough. And then I'm expecting at least 2 volunteers to share this SWOT analysis for like for public.
So guys, once you finish your SWOT analysis, just write the plus or anything so we know that you're finished. And if you want to volunteer and share with us, just raise your hand in the little man with the raised hand above where you can set your status. Is that okay? I will take your silence as yes. Yes, it should be a personal SWOT analysis. So your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats for the next period of a few months, for example. Of course. Is everything clear for everybody else? All clear? Yeah? No? the main difference between strengths and opportunities, as well as weaknesses and threats, is that strengths are something internal, so those are your characteristics, and opportunities is something external. So, for example, my strength is that I'm communicative, and my opportunity is the opportunity of using my communicativeness to be a teacher. So it's something external, it's not up to my personality traits. Is that a bit more clear? Same with weaknesses and threats. Weaknesses are something internal, and threats are something external. Okay, is anybody close to being finished? Or halfway through being finished? If you finished, please raise your hand.
Okay, maybe someone has field, for example, one of the fields like strengths or weaknesses or opportunities or threats. Just don't be afraid and share with us.
Okay, Rami and Leo, would you be willing to share with us?
His Majesty.
LCD. Leo, Your Majesty, would you be willing to share your SWOT with us?
You have developed a new title, so you need to share something with us.
Yes, you can talk, but it would be fine.
And also Bigzat is ready.
Okay, let's turn on Bigzat mic. Yeah, Bigzat, can you try talking? Okay, let's try it now. Bigzat, can you try talking now?
There is a
There's
mic
loud
button.
noise above you. Okay. And he's in a loud place. Okay, you can type. So you're creative. And while you're typing, Leo, I will turn on your mic. Can you try speaking? Leo, can you try speaking? You have a mic above the screen. Yeah? No? Yay or nay? Like above near the speakers, you have a microphone and a web camera. It worked for them. Why isn't it working for you? Okay, your mic is off. Can you try? Aram, can you try speaking again?
Can you hear us?
Oh my god. Oh no.
The sound is kind of bad. Okay, let's try it again. One more time. Try saying something.
Doc.
Hello,
Hi.
Tina. Hello, Nigina.
Good,
Hi.
thank you.
So we'd
You're
like
welcome.
to would like to share our strength. I'd like to share it. I'm optimistic. I'm responsible, and I'm workaholic
Okay, workaholic.
and positive.
Thank you.
Responsible and optimistic. Can you? Yeah.
Can we all hear her?
Okay, I can say it by one. Oh, did you hear it? Ah, cool. Okay. Then weaknesses. Emotional, problems with priority management, and sometimes, I don't, how to say it, when your mood can jump up and down. So,
Bipolar.
mood management. Okay, opportunities. I don't have it, but I've got a good sense of humor.
You have it.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
So that's it. No stress. I'm perfect.
How about threats?
I'm just kidding. Threat.
How about threats?
Sometimes I think that my sense of humor can be like, how to say, understood by people like I'm not serious. So this is a threat for me. But I haven't thought about other threats because we decided to share with you our like 2 or 3 SWOT like components. S, W, and O, not T.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes,
Thank you for hearing us. Goodbye.
Can I share?
Yeah, of course, Saram. Go ahead.
Okay, my strengths are like I'm smart, humble, positive. I always see the positive parts of the things. I try at least. My weaknesses, sometimes laziness when there is a lack of motivation. Like this is like one of the big problem. Sometimes I have like changing in my mood and I cannot manage it. I'm trying always to manage it, but sometimes it's out of me. How can I don't know how to say it. Opportunities, I have a lot of, like, my best friends are always here for me, my family. And threats, maybe time. The time is a
What do you mean
threat
by
for me
time?
because I'm so old.
Okay. So you don't think you have enough time?
Yeah, to do like all the things that I want to do in my life.
Okay.
I
Thank you
became
for
old.
sharing.
I'm so old. You're welcome.
Okay. So now that you hopefully finished with your SWOT analysis, what we need you to do is keep the paper where you wrote them on, or save the notepad if you were writing on your mic, on your laptop, sorry, or your computer. And after this session is over, just look them over, fill them out a bit more if you missed anything. And if anything is unclear, you will have the recording of this, and you will be able to understand a bit better what SWOT is, and you should try and figure out how you can turn your weaknesses into strengths and threats into opportunities. Is that okay
And
with
also
everyone?
and also just keep in mind that you always try to emphasize and focus on your strengths, and like for when you work with other people or on the project, and you're trying to not your weaknesses to let others down, or not to let down yourself. So just keep that in mind, evaluate them once in a while. You're changing, so they're also gonna change in like some period of time, in 1 month or maybe in 6 months, depends on you and your work. And moving on to the second type of analysis, This is a spider diagram or spider tool. For those who love geography, you might have heard about it, like in primary school, Rosa Vitrov. So this is the scene, another tool for companies to evaluate their journey, for companies to evaluate their employers' journey of learning. And it is important. It is also important to measure where we are right now on the regular basis, and Spider tool can help them. I found really interesting and really like complete tool. If you like, oops, sorry, if you will take a closer look on it, it includes lots of skills at the same diagram, like simple, technical excellence, supportive culture, confidence, self-improvement, collaboration, business value, product. If SWOT analysis can be used for your personality, so spider diagram or tool can be used for your professional skills and professional development and professional self-awareness. So you can see an example to the right. It's written here like business value, like, and there are two examples of Bob and Mary represented on the same chart. And you can see, for example, Mary is more collaborative, while Bob has a greater ability for supportive culture. Also, we will share the link in notes a bit, like in a while, in several minutes, I will share it. For this tool, you can just access it, download the Excel file, type in the numbers, the level of your proficiency and particular skills, and just look for your own spider diagram. And again, as I just was talking about, self-assessment should be done on a regular basis. So just try it now, try it later. This particular tool has 5 levels. The first one is 0. You put 0 if you have no idea what this scene is about and this skill is about and why, when it would be needed. The second one is like you put 1 if you're learning, you just know what the skill is, no first-hand experience. Second is practicing. You're sometimes using the skill at home, in class or work environment. You can just like have a clue for this. Third one is journeying, so you're just like advanced user. You use this skill in multiple environments and even know how to share these skills with others. And this fourth and the fifth one, value the value of which is 4, it's like mastering. So you just can claim that you're the best at this skill and like do whatever you want. I will share the link in a while and just try it out later and see what's inside. Yeah.
I forgot to unmute my mic. So moving on to our personality traits and how to be more self-aware. What sometimes gets us is the feeling of that of a personality trait just being that, being a personality trait. So I want everybody who thinks that we are made as we are and we can't work on our personality traits and we can't change them to either raise their hand or write something. So write something or raise your hand if you think that you cannot change who you are. You cannot change your personality type or personality trait. Anybody? Nobody? Okay, then who feels like we can work on ourselves and we can actually change the way that we react? Okay, so Rami and Leo. Anybody else? Okay, so a lot of people think that we can actually change the way that we react. Of course, it's not easy. Nothing is ever easy. As you know, there's a very funny saying about that. Anything worth doing is not easy. So I want you now to use the same paper that you used for your SWOT analysis and to write down and think about how you react in the 3 situations that you have on your screen when you're feeling different things. So how do you react to how do you react to things when you're happy, and how you react to things when you're upset. So how do you react when what you wanted to buy in a store is sold out when you're happy? Think about it and write it down. How do you usually react when you're upset? Is the difference big or small? Usually the difference is quite big. Then write down how you react when you get a bad grade. How do you react when you're happy and you had a really great day and then you get a bad grade? And how do you react when you had a really bad day and then you get a bad grade? So think about it, write it down. And the third thing, how do you react when you had an awesome day and then your girlfriend or your boyfriend breaks up with you? And how do you react when you had a really, really bad day and then your girlfriend or your boyfriend breaks up with you? So I want you to write all of these things down just for yourself. You don't have to share. It's just to see if you're aware of how different your reactions are when your mood is different. Sometimes it's really hard to control the way that we react to things. As Nazim already said, it's not easy, especially if we're a bit impulsive. And a lot of the people that I know, at least, are quite a bit impulsive and spontaneous when it comes to their reactions. And sometimes we write that off just as a personality trait, and we say this is something that I really can't work on that much. So I'm going to just share with you some personal tips that I have and that I use when I think that I'm going to react impulsively. I think that being impulsive is one of my weaknesses sometimes. So what I usually do in a situation is a trick that facilitators are taught when they're nervous before a presentation. It's basically counting down from 10. If you know multiple languages, or even if you don't know how to speak multiple languages, usually you know how to count in them. What I suggest is you try counting down from 10 to 1 in a different language. So first start with Russian or Kazakh or the languages that you find really easy, and then move on to harder languages that you don't know that well. For example, I recently learned how to count in Chinese because I was in China. I don't know much Chinese, but I do know how to count to 100. And because counting in Chinese sometimes for me it's hard and requires a lot of thought, what I usually do when I'm upset, when I had a really, really bad day, and then a situation happens and I think that I'm going to either snap at someone or or that I'm going to react badly, I try to count down in several languages. So I start with Serbian, obviously, then I go to English, then I go to some other languages I know, and then in the end I try counting down in Chinese. Because Chinese is not really a strong language for me, it usually requires a lot of thought, and usually I have to think really hard when I'm counting down. And that amount of time, that 5 or 10 or 15 seconds that it takes me to count down, I usually calm myself and I can see more clearly. Another thing we can do in order not to react so impulsively is, after we actually reacted, to reflect on what we did and admit our mistakes. A lot of the times when we're communicating with someone, that someone can annoy us, upset us in any way, and we react impulsively, and we sometimes even say the things that we don't mean. Self-awareness is all about not only being honest with yourself, but also owning up to your mistakes. So if you reacted in a bad way because of your bad mood, you should reflect on it. So again, reflection is one of the main tools of self-awareness. You should reflect on why you reacted in such a way. Once you understand your motivation, you can own up to it. So once you understand your motivation, you can explain your motivation to other people. Another thing for which personality and self-assessment is really important is understanding others. You won't be able to understand others, you won't be able to understand where they're coming from if you don't understand where you're coming from. So do you have any questions about these two methods of calming yourself down and changing the way you react to things? Aram is counting down in different languages. Thank you, Aram. That is very helpful. Is everything clear for everyone? Do you have any questions regarding this? If not,
no, let's
okay, Nazim is typing. Okay, multiple people are typing. Rami and Leo say yay. Anybody else? Okay, we will continue. While you write your questions, we will go back to anything that you're typing.
Yeah, they are asking for second method.
The second method is reflection. So reflection, yes, first is counting, the second is reflection. So after you reacted in the way that you reacted, you should try to figure out your motivation for that. So you should try to understand why you reacted in such a way. So if you're upset, usually your reaction is going to be like your mood is. So it's going to be very abrupt, it's going to be very explosive. If you're happy, you're mostly just going to, if something bad happens, you're mostly just going to be sad. When you're upset, you're going to get angry and nervous. And then what you should do is once you actually finished, once you actually did the things that you did, you should sit and try to figure out motivation. And once you understand your motivation, you can try and explain it to other people. Okay, I'm going to enable Aram's mic now because he wants to share his techniques. Just give me a second. Go ahead, Aram, the floor is yours.
Thank you. That's okay.
Anytime you're ready.
For example, in the past I used to get mad a lot, especially in meetings when I disagree with someone. I really get mad and like my mood changed, and sometimes it won't help, especially in meetings for like to find solutions and when there is a problem. Then I learned some therapy to help myself to improve and to see what's going on with me. So like one of the therapy that I do, I don't count, but I just, for example, start typing something, insulting, like, or doing something like that. Sometimes I just go to the toilet and I start screaming or insulting. I insult a lot, swearing a lot, as Scotch people do. Sometimes I just like try to take like 5 minutes, go and talk to myself. I'm not crazy, but I talk to myself sometimes. And that's like the therapy that I find helpful for me. Or like I just try to distract myself from the meeting or from like the current situation at that moment, like to calm myself, because like if you don't calm yourself at that moment, you may regret it later. So like each one may find his own therapy to manage his mood, and you just need to find it. That's it. Thank you. I yield the floor to the chair, Tina.
Thank you, Aram, for sharing. Basically, what he said is right. Not everything is going, like, not every method is going to work for different people. So it's, again, another part of self-awareness, knowing what works for you. So the first step is understanding who you are and where you come from. The second step is understanding why you react the way that you react. And then you have the third step, which is understanding how to manage and how to handle your reactions and how to change them. It's a long process and it takes some time, but in the end it's going to be worth it because you won't be having many situations where you actually regret what you say and what you do. Do you have any other questions, guys?
So Bigzat is asking about the second method again. So it's just simple. Just keep in mind that when you're happy, you react differently. When you're sad, you react differently. And keeping this in mind, try to like adjust your reaction accordingly. This is simple. Like just try to get, once you're getting this information, just try to re-evaluate it, remembering the mood, like the mood you had before the acceptance of the reaction. So yeah,
if there are no more questions, we can move to final tips.
Yeah, final tips. Yeah, so like wrapping up all of this our session about self-awareness, just do remember to be honest with yourself. Don't exaggerate about your own skills, your abilities, your strengths and weaknesses at the same time. Don't pity yourself when telling that, oh no, you cannot do something, you're not able to implement this. Only knowing yourself, you will be able to find the real motivation for your work. Knowing reasoning and hard facts behind everything is just the output from your self-awareness. And motivation to change, obviously it's the same. Like knowing your SWOT, your personal SWOT, it's easy to change it because you just have like written down. You just need to come up with a plan to change something, just like we do in ISEC. Frequent reflection is also required. Why? Obviously to keep in track and to see the change, which will become motivation after it. Action plan and implementation are required for self-awareness and for self-development. And satisfaction is a step, obvious. Once we know our weaknesses, once we fight against them, we are satisfied, isn't it? Yeah, the only thing I want to add is just self-awareness is the key for self-motivation, which will be covered next session. So just join us next Sunday. That's it.
Okay, and the last part are your questions. So if you have any questions regarding self-awareness, regarding the webinar for next week, which again, as Nigina said, is going to be self-motivation. It's going to be happening on Sunday at 6 p.m. Any questions regarding that or regarding this session, feel free to ask and we will do our best to answer. Okay. If not, just type something so we know that you don't have any questions.
And you can ask questions in Russian. Russian is acceptable.
Yes, you can ask questions in Russian. Okay, another thing while people are typing their questions, you can ask your TMs. Your TMs will today be receiving... Okay, just a second, Rami and Leo, I will tell you. Your TMs will be receiving the recording of this webinar, so you can ask them. You will be getting the recording as well. You can always revisit it. Each webinar is going to be recorded. If you have any questions regarding the next week's webinar, again, feel free to ask either Nigina, myself, or your TMs. I'm going to type my email here in the notes so you know where to email me if you have any questions. And to answer Leo and Rami, yeah, you will get official certificate if you attend 80% of them, as Nigina just typed. Double answers, yay. Yes, Aram, even you. If you attend 80% of them. Nigina, what is wrong with your voice? Feel free to answer. No? Come on.
I was drinking vodka last night, yes. No, I'm just joking, I just got a cold, that's it. I'm sorry for my voice.
Okay, Nigina was a little drunk last night. She went out without her coat. Now she has a cold. Her throat is hurting, as we can all see from her voice. I even made her drink tea. Any other questions, guys? If not, we can wrap this up. Thank you all for coming. It's been a pleasure doing this webinar with you and sharing this with you. That's everything for today, if you have no more questions. If you think of any other questions, please let us know.
Yeah, thank you so much. See you next Sunday. And
see you next Sunday, and bring your friends.
Yeah, bring your friends.
Okay, bye guys. Пока. See you.